There are moments when we find ourselves standing in the gentle light of vulnerability, quietly wondering why joy seems out of reach. It seems there is an invisible thread pulling us back, no matter how much we long to move forward. What if the roots of our difficulties are hidden in the soft shadows of our own hearts, the echoes from the past, silently shaping every choice we make? Sometimes, darkness does not scream. It whispers from the hidden corners of your heart, quietly shaping the stories you tell yourself. It smiles when you pretend to be okay, silently slipping behind your eyes in moments when you hold back tears. Darkness gently nods when you choose silence instead of speaking your truth, when you shrink yourself to fit the space where you feel safest. It thrives in silence, in places where you feel small, almost invisible. If you listen carefully, you can feel its gentle pull, soft like petals falling upward, memories rising to be seen. Darkness is not the enemy, but an old friend shaped from forgotten pains, hidden desires, and the fragile porcelain mask you wear every day. Cracks appear, silently glowing from within, hinting at the light that exists in every wound. In the quietest moments, darkness invites you to pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what if you no longer needed to run away? What if every crack, every silent pain, was a door, opening the way to healing and self-acceptance? Beneath the surface, your story is waiting to be rewritten, not by erasing the darkness, but by gently embracing it, with compassion and curiosity. This is where healing begins. Sometimes, the shadow doesn't arrive with thunder or storm. It moves quietly, finding shelter in the silent corners of our everyday life. The shadow often hides behind perfectionism, isolation, anger, and sometimes a smile. In the gentle hush of our routines, it whispers stories we're too busy or too frightened to hear. Notice how you might overreact to a small criticism, feeling as if the world is collapsing with just a word. This isn't just sensitivity, it's the echo of wounds unspoken, the voice of an inner child still longing for safety. Each perceived slight becomes a mirror, reflecting back ancient fears of not being enough, of being unloved, of disappointing those around us. In these moments, the pain feels disproportionate, but that's because it is not just about now. It is about then, and every time before. Sometimes we sabotage our closest relationships, pushing away those who care. Perhaps we walk away after a misunderstanding, or withdraw into silence, unable to trust the comfort offered. There is a part of us convinced we are unworthy of love, or that love is conditional, fragile, easily lost. The shadow tells us to protect ourselves by leaving first, by building walls so high that no one can scale them. And so the cycle repeats, longing for connection, yet fearing its inevitable loss. There's a special kind of ache that arrives when you feel guilt for simply expressing your needs. You type a message asking for help, then delete it, wondering if you're too much, too needy, too inconvenient. You swallow your requests, choosing to endure in silence rather than risk being a burden. But your needs are not flaws. They are gentle reminders of your humanity. The guilt is the shadow's way of keeping you small, convincing you that self-sacrifice is safer than authenticity. Overworking becomes another mask. You fill your days, your calendar, your every waking moment, striving to achieve, to prove your worth. Rest feels dangerous, an open invitation for self-doubt to creep in. Productivity becomes a shield, a way to outrun the feelings you'd rather not face. But beneath the busyness, there is a longing for acceptance, for validation that does not have to be earned. Sometimes the tears come only in the shower, hidden by the sound of water. Sometimes your truest feelings are shared only with the darkness before sleep. These are the subtle signs. The ways the shadow shows up, not as catastrophe, but as the quiet choices that shape your days. If you recognize yourself in these reflections, know that you are not alone. The shadow is a companion on the path of healing, not an enemy. It asks to be seen, to be heard, to be integrated. With gentle awareness, you can begin to notice its patterns, the ways it shapes your thoughts and choices. You can begin to offer compassion to the parts of you that learned these patterns long ago, when they were the only way to survive. Healing begins not with grand gestures, but with the smallest acts of honesty, with a breath, a pause, the courage to send the message, to ask for what you need, to let someone in. It starts with acknowledging the shadow's presence and gently inviting it into the light. In every overreaction, every moment of self-doubt, every hidden tear, there is wisdom waiting to be discovered. Your journey is not about erasing the shadow, but about understanding it, transforming it, and allowing yourself to bloom in the space where light and shadow meet. Breathe in gently, feeling the air settle in your body, as if the world slows just for you. In this quiet sanctuary, allow yourself to become soft, receptive. Let these questions arrive like gentle waves upon the shore of your awareness. What do I hide from the world? Notice not the answer, but the tender ache that stirs within. There may be a part of you, small and gentle, that tucks itself away, afraid of being misunderstood, rejected, or judged. Imagine this part as a delicate seed, cradled deep within the soil of your being, longing for sunlight, yet hesitant to emerge. It is not wrong for you to protect it. It only asks for your patient, loving presence. Now let your breath flow into the spaces where you feel unacceptable. Perhaps there is a memory, a feeling, or a habit that you wish you could erase, a shadow that follows you quietly. Instead of turning away, offer it a place at your table. See how it softens when met with compassion, how it simply wants to be witnessed, not fixed. In the stillness, whisper to yourself, I am allowed to be whole, even with my shadows. Ask yourself, with gentle honesty, when do I abandon myself to be loved? Trace the moments when you said yes, though your heart whispered no. Recall the times you shrank, hoping to fit into someone else's idea of love or belonging. Imagine reaching out to your younger self, the one who learned to betray her own needs to feel safe. Let her know she is seen, cherished, and never too much. Stay here, resting in the gentle hum of awareness, as if a soft mist is weaving through an ancient forest, neither rushing nor forcing, simply enveloping all that you are. Allow your breath to anchor you to the present, each inhale and exhale a silent promise. I am safe to know myself. I am safe to hold my truth. Let the questions linger, like candlelight flickering in the quiet dark, illuminating hidden corners with warmth and acceptance. There is nothing you need to change, only a deep invitation to listen, to welcome every part of your being home. You are not broken. You are layered, like the petals of a flower unfolding in the quiet dark. Beneath the surface of your everyday self, there are stories, memories, and forgotten parts of you, each one longing to be seen, heard, and loved. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your silent companion, patiently waiting for your gentle gaze. When you turn toward it with courage and curiosity, you discover that every wound holds a lesson, every fear holds a truth, and every ache holds a seed of new growth. You are allowed to feel, to remember, to grieve, and to hope. The parts of you that have been hidden in shadow are not signs of weakness, but invitations to deeper wholeness. With each breath, let yourself soften. With each sunrise, remind yourself that healing is not a destination, but a journey, one that unfolds softly, moment by moment. You are worthy of your own tenderness. You are worthy of forgiveness, especially your own. As you embrace every layer of yourself, you awaken to the wisdom within your soul. Trust that you are being gently guided home, not to the person you wish to be, but to the truth of who you already are. Radiant, resilient, and beautifully whole. If these words have stirred something within, I invite you to pause and listen to that gentle whisper inside. You are not alone on this path. Each story, each emotion, each question is welcome here. Let this be your sanctuary for honest reflection and shared growth. If you feel called, share your thoughts or feelings in the comments below. This is a space held in compassion, where every part of you is honored and seen. And if you wish to continue unfolding your story, step by step, breath by breath, I invite you to subscribe. Together, we will walk the path of healing, gently illuminating the hidden corners of the heart and soul. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, and that each small step forward is a quiet act of courage. Thank you for being here and for choosing to heal. Carl Jung believed the shadow is the part of us we reject, but what we reject doesn't disappear. It waits for a moment to protect or sabotage us. Imagine for a moment the parts of yourself you were told were too loud, too sensitive, too needy, or too strange. The laughter you stifled, the tears you swallowed, the dreams you hid away. These fragments become the inhabitants of your shadow, quietly shaping the way you see the world and yourself. At the heart of our shadow is often our inner child, the original, unfiltered self who first learned how to navigate love, safety, and belonging. When this inner child is suppressed, it's usually not by choice, but by necessity. We adapt to the spoken and unspoken rules of our families and societies. We learn which parts of us are acceptable and which must be hidden to earn approval or avoid pain. The suppressed inner child retreats, not because it wishes to disappear, but because it is trying to keep us safe. Attachment wounds are the invisible cracks that form when our early relationships fail to provide the security and nurturance we need. Perhaps the caregiver was emotionally unavailable, or love was given only under certain conditions. These experiences teach us that some needs are too risky to express. Over time, we internalize these lessons, carrying them into adulthood, where they quietly influence our relationships and self-perception. Self-abandonment grows from these roots. It is the subtle, often unconscious act of turning away from our true feelings, needs, and desires. Instead of tending to our pain, we might distract ourselves, numb out, or criticize our own vulnerability. We become experts in meeting others' expectations while losing touch with our own voice. Each act of self-abandonment adds another layer to the shadow, reinforcing the belief that our authentic self is unworthy or unsafe. To survive in a world that may not always welcome our true nature, we develop a protective mask. This mask is crafted from the parts of ourselves that feel most acceptable: confidence, control, competence, or cheerfulness. The mask helps us function, fit in, and sometimes even excel. But beneath the surface, our rejected parts wait. When triggered by stress, rejection, or uncertainty, the shadow may slip through the cracks, overwhelming us with emotions or behaviors that feel foreign, even frightening. Yet the shadow is not our enemy. It is a messenger, crafted out of our deepest instincts for survival and belonging. the anger that erupts unexpectedly, the sadness that lingers, the anxiety that tightens our chest. These are signals from the parts of us that once felt unsafe. The shadow protects, but it also calls for attention, integration, and compassion. Healing begins with noticing the ways we suppress our inner child. When we invite curiosity instead of judgment, we may find a child longing for comfort, play, or expression. Recognizing attachment wounds allows us to understand the origins of our fears and patterns, offering a chance to reparent ourselves with kindness. Choosing self-acceptance over self-abandonment requires courage, the willingness to sit with discomfort and offer ourselves the care we once sought from others. As we gently lower the protective mask, we make space for authenticity. This process does not mean discarding the mask entirely, but rather learning when it serves us and when it hides us. The more we honor the wisdom within our shadow, the less power it has to sabotage us. Instead, it becomes an ally, offering insight, resilience, and wholeness. In Jung's view, the shadow is not a flaw, but a vital aspect of our humanity. By turning toward what we have rejected, we reclaim lost parts of ourselves. The journey is neither easy nor linear, but it is profoundly liberating. When we embrace our shadow, we unlock deeper self-understanding, compassion, and the freedom to live more fully, guided by the light and darkness within.